Is the stair stepper all you need for hike training? After all, it looks like walking uphill, and it can definitely make you sweaty and sore. But I have had enough conversations with folks who have tried to use the stair stepper and then still been crazy sore after their first day out on the trails that I felt like I needed to make this video. So consider this my PSA to you. The truth is the stair stepper can build some aspects of your fitness, but it leaves some serious gaps when it comes to the trails. So let's just talk about what the stair stepper does do well and about how to fill in those gaps that the stair stepper doesn't address so that you can have an amazing first hike out and not feel crazy sore after or crazy tired during. So let's talk first about what we actually need for an effortless hike. We definitely need a strong heart and lungs to get lots of oxygen to our working muscles. Then we need those muscles to be adapted to use oxygen to create energy to get us uphill, often with ourselves and a backpack. And then, this is the important part for the stair stepper training, we need those muscles to be able to slow us down as we go back down the hill. And finally, the most overlooked aspect when it comes to longevity in hiking training, we need our muscles, our bones, our tendons, and our ligaments to be able to handle literally thousands of steps and movements per hour in lots of different planes as the ground goes from one surface to another. And when you're out of service or you're far from a trailhead, it really helps to know you can trust your body. Just a few weeks ago, I was actually out hiking with a friend. We were on our way to a climbing spot and then we were hiking out and he had a hyperextension of his knee, and that injury meant that we needed to unload some of the gear off his back and give him pulls. So I took the extra load and all of a sudden a pack that I thought was only gonna be 30 pounds was upwards of 60. So being able to handle more than you anticipate carrying can often be really important for being self-sufficient when you're out there. So what the stair stepper does really, really well is it helps you build your heart and lungs, especially if you're using intervals, which means you're working really hard on the stair stepper, going quite fast for a certain period of time, and then doing longer portions at a really easy pace. Because side note, I often see people do the same workout over and over where they're going at a moderate pace on the stair stepper for about half an hour. And if you're doing your workouts like that right now, you can make them more effective, give you more bang for your buck if you do short periods of high intensity stair stepping and combine it with some recovery, working on the stair stepper at a really low intensity. I like to call it the opera pace, the pace at which you could sing opera while you're walking on the stair stepper. Now, if you can't go slow enough on the stair stepper to get that opera pace, you might want to start with a treadmill and use a lower incline for your opera intervals, and then for your higher intensity intervals, increase the incline. But will the stair stepper build strength? Now, it will build something called strength endurance, which is your ability to lift a small percentage of your 1 rep max time and time and time again. But it ignores half of the movement, which I'm gonna talk about in a second. First, let's talk about the fact that we can also build other aspects of our strength, our pure strength, our power, and that these things are gonna be building blocks for being able to handle a heavy pack and be more resilient when you're out on the trail. Try lifting a heavier weight for a smaller number of reps through actual strength training. It's going to be a much faster way to gain strength and muscle. Now, I have a video on exercises that you can use to build strength specific to hiking, and I'll link to that below. But first, let's talk about this big gap. This is the most important reason why you can't just use a stair stepper for strength training. And that is, on the stair stepper, you are only doing the concentric part of your hiking movement. You are only mimicking walking up the mountain. Once you get to the top, you still have to get back down. And it is this downward part of a hike that will often leave people the most sore. You see, your joints actually take, specifically your knees, 6 to 8 times your body weight through them in force as you're walking downhill. Your muscles' job is to work to slow down that movement so you don't just fall down the hill. And this is actually called an eccentric contraction. Your muscles are resisting lengthening. With every single step, they're lengthening under tension. And the stair stepper completely ignores this part of the movement. So the key with all those exercises you're going to watch in the next video is to focus on slowly lowering yourself in those weights workouts. Now, this knowledge is useless if you don't know what exercises to do, so I will redirect you to that video where I talk about it, but I also have another solution. At Wilder, we have a free Couch to Summit 30-day strength and cardio program that can get you ready for your hikes. It takes all the guesswork out and even lays out a calendar for you. So grab that program from the link in the description, watch the next video on what exercises to do, and once you do all that, you'll be totally ready for hiking. Have a Wilder week, and we'll chat soon.